This is a Mexican Beetle with older body panels fitted, and as you can see the bumper is completely pitted and rusted. These are the sort of fair weather, American weather bumpers, or Fenders if you're in the US. This is the Harrington stainless steel bumper kit. From sort of many years ago, these had very bad reviews, although they've improved more recently. It's now 2019, so I took the chance, and we'll see if they fit or how much fettling is going to be required to get them to fit. So here we go. This is how they arrive. So we've taken the bumper or fender off. It's literally just some M13 bolts. There's my rusty fog lamp. So the question is, are the holes in the right place? So here's the old fender and the new fender next to it. If we come in close, you've got a square sort of hole and a round one, which also mounts this, and plus or minus a couple of millimeters, they are in the right place compared to the old one. Let's just go to this side. You can see it's pretty good. These bumpers are, I'm told they're kind of partially handmade, and if you look for hammer marks and things, I can't actually see any. They're completely smooth, the ends are neat, and if you want it to be really fussy, you can see the odd sort of little blemish along here on the inside, on the upper edge, but to be honest, that's fine with me. I can live with that. If you go this end, you can see there's some, I don't know if you can see that, you can just sort of see some hammer marks as if it's been hand finished. I think these are made in Vietnam or the Philippines or somewhere, but you know, from the front they're pretty amazing actually, and in our climate you need something like this, otherwise everything just rusts within a couple of years. So the next thing is, do these holes line up okay? And the answer to that is yes, they do. And just to be on the safe side, do the overriders have any difference between the rear ones and the front ones? And the answer to that is, at least in this kit, no, they're all the same, so you can just pick up the first one and put them on. It comes with captive nuts, top and bottom, which makes life easy assembly wise. And then the other thing is, do you get a bag of bits with it, stainless bolts and things, or do you need to go and buy some? And the answer to that is no, you do actually get that along with the little rubbers and everything. So hopefully it'll go together pretty easily. Let's see what happens. The other thing you get in the kit is this rubber trim, which has a little groove in the centre. If you're careful, you can push it on here and here and cut it to length. It just stops the two edges of the metal rubbing. It will actually stay on its own long enough for you to actually bolt everything together, so that's pretty good. Let's see how that goes. Now, I don't know if this is deliberate or just random variation, but if you look at this, you'll see this top hole is a tiny bit further that way compared to this one, and if you go with the other side, this one is a tiny bit further that way compared to this one. So your overriders, you might think, will end up sloping inwards slightly, but if you look at the overriders, and again, I don't know if this is deliberate or just random variation, if you go through the front and back, you can see that one, the hole is offset just a touch. It's not quite in the centre, it's a touch that way, and that one is a touch off centre this way, and this one is a touch off centre that way. There they go. So if you choose the right overriders, you can sort of compensate and get them back that way and that way. If you look at the other two in the set, the holes are pretty much dead centre at the top, and they're also pretty much dead centre at the bottom. I don't know if that's deliberate, again, or just sort of randomness on the part of the people making them. But anyway, if you choose the best ones for the front and back, it's probably a good idea. My cunning plan here is this tape just holds these roughly in place, because the sun's coming out. I don't know if it's because these are warmed up a bit, they're popping off, because you can't put the bolt through here until you mount the fender on the car, because that's one of the places that holds it on. And the idea is just before I do the bolts up tight, we'll take this tape out. Small point, I just had to file one of these dome-headed bolts. They have these flat surfaces on the inside to stop them rotating. I had to file one down a bit to get it to go in properly. On the other side it went in no problem. Again, not a major thing. That's pretty good, I think. So my suggestions are, right, when you put the fender up against the brackets, I would put these in, do these up first, these two, loosely, then do, I don't know if we can get a good view of this, can't get a good view, these bottom ones go into captive nuts. Hang on, you can't see anything there. There's a captive nut there, there's a bolt there. Use the long bolts that they supply. It's much easier to get it all lined up and through into the captive nut. Do it up loosely. Do the same with the one the other side. Once they're all in, then just do everything up tight, and then just check the tightness of these top ones as well. The bumper's off. This should be easy to fit because the overriders are not part of the bolts here. They're held on with separate bolts. So I've just assembled this one the same as the front bumper. These trays for delivering food are actually quite a good way of holding it, because otherwise it's a pretty awkward shape. Again, you can see evidence that they are handmade. Lots of little hammer marks here. Now the sun's come out, you might be able to see them. But, you know, even so, it's pretty good. Just as with the front bumper, these bolts that have the flats here, they're slightly too large for the hole, so I'm going to just file it one side flatter just to bring it down, and then the other side until they just fit nicely in the squared off holes. These two, that one's fine, that one needed filing, it's the inner ones. That one needed filing, that one was fine. So I'm about to trial fit the rear fender. I've got my two bolts through here and here, both sides. There's these backing plates. They don't come with the fender. They're something you have to buy separately. They just strengthen it, so they will stay just if you put them on. They're probably quite easy to knock off, but we'll just assemble everything loosely and see how we get on now. Although you can fit the overriders afterwards, the inner bolt for this one down here is quite tricky to get in, so you may still want to fit it before you mount the bumper. It's then held on with a bolt here and here, and the same the other side, so 4 captive bolts with domed heads. And as you can see, again, it looks pretty good. It's not hitting the exhaust, so good job. I just need to clean my car now.